Hi everyone. How's everyone? Happy Wednesday evening, afternoon, wherever you are. Thank you if you joined us for the earlier podcast today. I'm actually glad we got that up and out of the way. So now we can have a much shorter evening podcast. And welcome everyone. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up button and the subscribe button as well. Welcome also to our new members who have joined. Both the channel and the Instagram page are just going from strength to strength this month. And I'd always thought that would be the case because this was meant to be Sussex September. But it's just this got thrown into the mix as well. On the screen, by the way, is the only King Charles that I want in my life. This is a King Charles Cavalier. This is the best, in my opinion, just the best and the cutest dog ever. And the only type of King Charles that I want in my life. I believe it's actually called the King Charles because of one of the either the first or the second King Charles. It became quite a popular breed during his reign. Um, let's see who's in the chat this evening. Hello, Wendy. Good evening to you too. Hello, Sherry. Hi, Kat Harlem. How are you, doll? Hi, Fabi. Marina, hi. Hi, Gail. Uh, good morning from down under. So happy to be on the lives. I always miss Baron because in the middle of the night usually. Well, I'm glad that I mean, sometimes, we are gonna clash depending on our own personal schedules. But we do try not to clash, just because we know that everybody lives in, different time zones and to give everybody a chance to jump on a different time. So I'm glad that everybody kind of gets their time when they can log in and have a listen. I've had to actually change the title of this podcast because the other story that I was going to cover, I'm going to cover it tomorrow instead. Maggie, the cut, Invictus, One Young World speech. I'm glad Harry and Meghan had this under their belt before the Queen's death. Shows the family just who is getting the clicks. Well, I think for Harry and Meghan, it's not so much about the clicks, it's just about the work. But I think it's the family that want to make it a competition, but you can't compete where you can't compare, as we always say. Good evening to you too, Miss P Talks. Hello, hello, Bonnie McFarlane. Yes, Veronica, they are adorable. Absolutely adorable. And I really, really want one, but I can just not afford to get a dog right now. And someone's saying no sound. Okay, there's only one person saying no sound, so maybe it's just you, darling. Just refresh the page if you feel like you're struggling with the sound. Alrighty, let's get started. Right, so there was another funeral procession today. This time from Buckingham Palace to the Westminster Abbey, where the Queen's body is going to remain until the final, big funeral ceremony. And almost 25 years apart, Diana's funeral was September 6th, I believe. So almost 25 years to the day. A very similar image of two grown men, once young boys, walking behind their mother's coffin, now walking behind their grandmother's coffin. And so much has happened in those 25 years. The most monumental of those, I think, in the last 5. And it's just such a shame because William could have really had an ally in Harry. And I think together they could have taken the monarchy in a much more progressive way. But I think that with all the best will in the world, that may have been a bit of a pipe dream on Harry's part because at the end of the day, the institution that he's born into, it is the establishment. And I think that's becoming more and more obvious now during the last few days. Are some of you sorry, are some of you struggling with sound? Hang on a minute. Let me just do something. Um, can some of you can you lot confirm? Those of you who can hear, just let me know, and just so I know that it's maybe just a couple of people. So if I just have a couple of people in the chat, just let me know you can hear, and then I'll know that it's just maybe a handful. Okay, okay, the majority of you can hear. All right, thank you very much for that. So yeah, at the end of the day, the institution that Harry was born into is the establishment, and the last couple of days has proven that. We've been given a bank holiday, but what is the point of a bank holiday if you literally can't do anything? And I'm going to show you what I mean in a moment, because there's a lot of places now that are actually shutting, even supermarkets now. Morrison's is going to be shut. It's got a text from someone who said Tesco's, which is one of our biggest supermarket retailers, is also going to be so I just think that this is an institution that is not for people who have kind hearts, and it's just unfortunate that both that Diana was brought into this institution, and then Harry, just by circumstance, was born into this institution, and I think has grown into an amazing person and has tried to, I think, use his platform for as much good as possible. But we know that the culture within the royal fold is that you cannot outdo the heir, and if you do, they get very jealous. And you are not to serve the people; you are to serve the establishment. So I'm hoping that once all of this is done and over, Harry and Meghan can get back to doing what Harry and Meghan do best. But at the end of the day, this is their family, and it must hurt. Like I don't sit here and pretend that it must not hurt for them who are in that institution, who are in this family. It must hurt. But I think they have both spoken very openly about their mental health and healing, and hopefully after all this is over, they can continue to heal and just get on with life, and the other royals can get on with whatever it is that they want to get on with their bowing and ribbon cutting and waving. um so that was that. Meghan, wow, she looked phenomenal as always, but she gave the curtsy of all curtsies. Now, when you actually watch the footage from Sky News, you only see her in the background, like the bottom half of her body. But what you can see is that all of the other ladies gave like a half curtsy, and she gave like a full all the way to the ground. I could never do that in heels. Perfect form. And of course, the usual toffs would say that she can't. Well, she did, honey. And in fact, and I'm not just saying this as a fan, she really did give a very deep and respectful curtsy. And Harry bowing his head in respect also. I mean, that picture of Meghan curtsying, Harry bowing, and William with the absolute face of thunder, like he wants to just incandescently with rage knock somebody out. It just speaks a thousand words. And small pictures of Harry and Meghan standing together. Um, these ones of Harry looking very somber. So Harry was in the procession. I don't actually have. Oh, do I have the procession picture? Do I have? Okay, no, I don't have it, which is really annoying. I'll maybe put it up tomorrow. But it's basically Harry in the middle, surrounded by all the other members of his family, and he's not in his uniform, but everybody else is. Actually, just if you give me a sec, I'll just let you enjoy the pictures while I try to have it up because it's a really it's a picture that really speaks 1,000 words, and they should really just be ashamed that this is what the military community now is going to see around the world. In this is visible, and they're going to see that the only member of the royal family who in modern times has served on the front line, done 2 tours, was left to stand there not wearing his uniform while um all his other family members were. I think that Andrew, though, on this occasion, I believe that Andrew was in a mourning suit, but at the actual funeral, I think that Andrew will get to wear his uniform. Wait, let me just get the picture so you can actually see what I'm talking about. Ah, yes, here it is. So yeah, that's Harry. And do you know what's I swear these people just shoot themselves in the foot over and over again because the fact that Harry is the only one not wearing a uniform, other than Andrew, but Andrew is slightly more in front, it just makes Harry stand out, and they all kind of just blend into the background. Like they all look like his security. So Harry still looked amazing. He kept it strong throughout the whole thing. He was in top form. They marched from the palace all the way to the abbey. And Meghan was in the cars with Sophie. This is right. So this is when they were walking out. Now Harry grabbed Meghan's hand, and the ridiculous tabloids um always have to find something, right? So a wife holding her husband's hand during his grandmother's funeral is apparently controversial, but it's only controversial if your wife is a biracial duchess. Because here you have Zara and Tyndall, I've no idea where he earned those medals and what for, also holding hands, and no one says anything. Yeah, these are the other members of the royals as well. That is Beatrice and Eugenie, and I think that's Beatrice's husband. I think that's yeah, Jack Britt's back, and Eugenie's partner Eduardo as well. So the whole fam was there. This picture just made me laugh. It's Catherine in okay, it looks like she's looking towards the crown. I think she was just looking towards the archbishop, but it's just funny to me. Like, not another 20 years, girl, not another 20 years. And I wonder how it must feel for Catherine to watch Meghan, who had a full and accomplished life, who has never been a woman to shrink herself, who's loudly and proudly feminist, who was married, but obviously that marriage was not working for her, so she was brave enough to leave, something I don't think women like Catherine often do in miserable marriages. And then she ended up getting the prince anyway, and she's never had to shrink herself or be half of herself. And this was the picture of them walking out of the abbey. Harry and Meghan looking at each other solemnly but lovingly. Kate with pursed lips, trailing behind her husband, who was just looking down and looks like he just can't wait to leave. And this is Charles and Diana energy right there. Just two people who are miserable and stuck in a marriage. No hand holding, no love being shown. What a life. Right. We'll go to your comments before we continue. And Lewis, did Edward take military service? I think he dropped out after like 3 or 4 months. Cat Harlem, I feel bad for Peter Phillips, eldest grandson. They never mentioned him next to Harry and William. Well, Cat, from the perspective of the press and the image of grandeur that the firm want to um, establish with the public, why would they mention him? That's probably why they don't mention him, because he wouldn't generate any clicks, and because he's not one of the main royals. So, as we know, Cat, this is not a family, this is a business. And as Harry said, he's seen how the business model works. So, unfortunately, other members of the family just kind of get left by the wayside. Bonnie, I read somewhere that the uniform decision involved several people signing in on it, including Anne and Charles. Well, I can't confirm that. I don't know whether or not that's true, but I mean, I'm sure that Charles at least would have been involved in that decision, yes, which is very unfortunate. Adrienne, they tried to make Harry look like an outcast. Yeah. And now, if you go on social media, Harry's all they're talking about, and people are saying that this is absolutely disgusting. So, Elaine, and he's going to wear a uniform for the vigil, but not the funeral. They will stand around the coffin while the Queen is laid in state in Westminster Hall. Wait, he's gonna wear a uniform for the vigil. Who are you talking about? Are you talking about Andrew or Harry? Not quite sure what you meant there. For the final funeral, Harry will just wear a mourning suit, but Andrew will wear full military costumes. Wendy, there's unroyals in their fake uniforms and medals. Yes, Kathy G, she wants that crown so bad. It's not even hers. Williams. She gets the other crown. Of course, that picture would make you laugh. I'm glad you understand. Oh God. Okay, she was looking at the crowd. Shut it back. Oh no, I'll tell you what picture is even more funny. This one. I did not do this, somebody else did. But it's definitely giving a stepmother and annoying stepsister energy, no? Kate staring at the crown thinking, one day I'll get you. One day, one day. Cal Alston. Anne is wearing a phony uniform. Her husband was in the Navy and appropriately wearing a uniform, but he is not a blood relative. Oh, that's interesting. Yes, legs. Meghan's skin, makeup, flawless. She wakes up flawless while traveling, listening while driving. Okay. I'll try not to scream suddenly as to not cause an accident. Just be normal people. Yeah, I think they should just be normal people. They'd be a lot happier. Because right now they look like one miserable bunch. Oh, they're trolling in the chat. Troll in the chat. Dear oh dear. Well, welcome. Make sure you hit the thumbs up button. Oh, I just realized there's like 1,300 people. Make sure you all hit the thumbs up button. Okay. Um, Mimi, the only two people technically who could wear uniforms is Prince Andrew and Prince Harry, since they both served in the military. Yes, and fought in wars. Everybody else is just for show. Yes, that is true. All right. So there was also a picture of the staff from Buckingham Palace. These are the people who didn't like 5 a.m. emails, and the lines to see the Queen have now started. And these were apparently the first people in line. A black woman draped in a Union Jack, a Welsh woman draped in a Welsh flag, and an Asian woman. I don't care if I sound like a conspiracy theorist. You're not going to tell me that these aren't paid actors because they're using this image all over the media. Like, what are the chances that the first people in line are a black woman in a Union Jack, a Welsh woman with a Welsh flag? Now that Charles is the King of Wales, or sorry, Prince of Wales, or whatever it is. And a lot of Welsh people are definitely annoyed by that. Oh, and an Asian woman, just for a little bit extra diversity, with her Tesco's bag. Like, what are the chances? Uh, I'm loving Auntie's skirt though. Loving the print, very boho. California Girl. Did you see they released a new Chucky movie and he's on a throne? Really? Oh, I'll look into that. Mm. Marine, that black woman is from Ghana. Shout out to Auntie for repping for all of us. So, just so you know, and if anybody is genuinely interested in going down, you can actually view pretty much at all hours of the day, I believe, all the way up until is it until Friday? Um, there is a changing of the guards every 20 minutes, and the line on I think on the government website, there's actually a tracker. Like this is how extra they're going because the line is like a mile or two long. So the tracker on the government site will show you how long the line is, where the back of the line is, and how long you might have to wait before you get into the building. And from the looks of it, you are not allowed to have your phone out. You can just literally walk past the body and bow and say like a 3-second prayer and keep it moving. But there's like the line splits into two inside of the building. So if anybody is interested in going, just double check on the government website to see how long you have to wait, and also you do go through airport security. So make sure that you're not carrying anything that's gonna hold up you getting in. Mm. Tash, the royal family working being a reason to wear a uniform you didn't earn through service is an insult to the military. It is an insult to the military, and I'm sure all of the military men and women who know that Harry served and who know that Harry is trying to do the best for his military community through Invictus Games, is just going to look at that and be absolutely insulted. Kathy G, since the casket is closed, are we sure that Trump didn't put classified documents in there? Listen, I have not been keeping an eye on what's going on in the US. I just know vaguely that there's an investigation going on, and it's quite um unfortunate that what's going on in the UK is overshadowing what is a very important issue in the US. Um, Ellen, sorry, Yulan, Harry looked so regal, walking alongside the welfare pass. Well, welfare pass. Was that meant to be like a shady insult? um, Lydia Barber, yes, insulting to the military. Can't the military speak out? Hypocrites. You know what? I feel like sometimes it is actually best to just not say anything. And I think with Harry releasing the statement that he released, that was him saying, I'm a military serviceman and I don't need a uniform to prove it. And I think that when Invictus Games rolls around next year, that is going to speak for itself. And I'm sure that the military community is going to come out in droves for him. So I feel like um we don't need to entertain or give energy to what the royals are doing in that regard. I feel like the military community will come out for Harry next year. All right. So I pulled a couple of funny tributes from the interwebs, something a little bit more light-hearted. So you have this tribute, which was in Tesco's. They put a picture of the Queen around the Haynes beans, and of course, the people who were leaving sandwiches by the palace for Paddington Bear. You also have this one I just think is hilarious. So, Guinea Pig Awareness Week is going to change the dates to the 26th to the 30th. Had no idea that there was a Guinea Pig Awareness Week or what we need to raise awareness for guinea pigs for. I don't know, people who have pets as guinea pigs. But in respect for Her Majesty, we are moving Guinea Pig Awareness Week. Also, in one parish where they had a guest book, somebody signed the guest book with "Rest in peace" from all the staff at Pizza Express, Woking. That obviously in reference to where the nonce said that he was when he was accused of doing his nonce things. We also have a kite festival. In respect for the Queen, we cannot fly kites. Who have cancelled their oh sorry, is it wind day. So no flying kites. We also can't ride bikes apparently. Also, what else is cancelled here? Junior doctors are postponing the sitting of the RCOG Part 1 exams, which are due on Monday 19th. Junior doctors spend months dedicated to revising for these exams. Delays cause a significant mental toll, as well as potentially affecting training progression. Mind you, the NHS is already on its knees. We have millions of appointments in backlog. Many of those appointments are going to get cancelled because of the Queen's funeral. And now the future of healthcare, who we are training, their exams are now being held back as well. The 4-month delay before the next sitting is a substantial length of time, which will only add to anxiety. We are extremely disappointed that this is the case. UK-based trainees have been disadvantaged compared to international candidates with this postponement. Oi. You also have this interesting visual. See, I actually like the telephone box one. I feel like it's simple, it's not a fuss, and it's actually quite cute. We could have just stuck to doing that. But what I definitely don't think is cute is that they're closing UK cinemas, and if they're open, they have to screen the funeral. So, what is the point of giving us a bank holiday when it seems like they all just want us to focus on the funeral that day? Also closing, Heathrow is cancelling flights, and the Aviation Authority has imposed an restriction on airspace over central London, which bans aircraft, including drones, flying below 2,500 feet between September 9th and 19th. Okay, so that ban already started then. And so flights will be disrupted between 1:50 p.m. and 3:40 to so I think that was actually earlier today they did that. My goodness, how annoyed must you be if you're someone who's stuck in the delays? So that's that. Morrison's, which is the um grocer, they're a big grocer here in the UK. They are turning down the volume of their beeps. Yes, they're turning down the volume of their beeps. In Co-op at the till, so this is another big grocery retailer, they have the Queen on the screens, and Dr. Helen Salisbury was asked by a radio if she wanted to come and talk about what might contribute to living until the age of 96. And she said that statistically speaking, wealth is most certainly an important factor. But she declined the invitation because she did not think that that was what they wanted to hear. Of course, that's not what they want to hear. They want to hear that working until your very last moment is what's going to keep you alive until 96, which we know is just not the case. What other? Was there another one? Yes. So Lord Sugar, who he's a very rich tycoon here in the UK. He was given a lordship, of course, by Her Majesty. So, sometime, wait, when was this? On the okay. So he tweeted that he was sorry to hear about the breaking news that Her Majesty the Queen is now under doctor supervision, and that he's sure the whole nation will join him in wishing her for a speedy recovery. And somebody tweeted to him, "People are struggling here with the cost of living, and you're taking pictures on your yacht." To which he responded, and this was the very next day, "Shut your bloody mouth, you jealous scum." Now, to be fair, Lord Sugar is free to take selfies on his yacht if he wants to. He's earned his money, but that response, the day after the other tweet about the Queen, somebody who's very privileged, and he can't just respond. I think I think there would have been a much more respectful way to respond to this person. I think it's just really telling, like how he feels about a poor working class person versus a privileged person like the Queen. But of course, he's a lord. So yeah, I think that's pretty much all I had for today. Let me just double check on the slides. Ah, yes. People have been making note about the fact that Charles is going to inherit millions, estimated 500 million, without paying inheritance tax. But the taxpayers will pay for the Queen's funeral. And the estimates I've actually seen from the Queen's funeral is 6 billion. Now, I don't know how true that is, but that is the estimate that I've seen. And the actual final number of how much the royal family is worth, I mean, some people think it's in the billions, some people think it's in the trillions. Nobody actually has, uh, you know, a concrete answer. But I would just put their entire worth at priceless, because so much of what they own is they own a lot of history, actually, history from wealth that was stolen. And so I don't even know if you can actually put a price on how much the royals are worth. But Charles, who's been running around getting bags of cash, is going to inherit a reported 500 million. Now, I believe that inheritance tax is something like 40% in the UK, and he won't have to pay any of that. But also today it came out that the EU is going to impose a windfall tax on energy firms to curb soaring prices. And guess who's no longer in the EU? Exactly. So with that, we are going to finish. I'm going to keep it short and sweet. Tomorrow is Harry's birthday. You can join in on the parties on Twitter, or you can join my podcast. I'm going to do a podcast as well. Thank you so much, everyone, for your support. It's day 6 down. Day 6 down. We're almost there, everyone. We're almost there. just, just hold on. Terry, I'm in America. Is over yet. Oh gosh. For those of you, if you have access to Sky News, if you don't have access to it on the TV, just look up Sky News on YouTube and you can watch the live feed. So you can actually see what's going. If you want to see what's going on in the UK, your best bet is on Sky News. Just the commentary now is starting to get very, very irritating. It's and part of it is because they're actually running out of things to say. Right, so let's get for your comments and we will call it a day. Delphine, hello everyone. Such a time like this, the media have so much time to focus on Harry and Meghan to create chaos. It's a long-standing monarch class. Yes, and they're not even paying attention to that. There was a news reporter on the BBC. I don't think I'm gonna post it on my channel, but I'll probably post it on the Instagram. And he said, let me just find the tweet because it was hilarious. Um, okay, Twitter's taken forever to load, but he said something along the lines of, "And here we see the Duchess of Sussex and the other." Oh wait, I think I've got it. Ah, yes. BBC World News only mentioned Duchess of Sussex. He says, um, the Duchess of Sussex, and then the other members of the royal family. So he didn't even say the other members of the royal family's names. It's like even the BBC commentator does not care about those other people. Hilarious. Oh, poor Meghan. It's all gonna be over soon, dear. Don't worry. Get back home to your kiddies. Let me just find that picture. There with that epic curtsy. Edith, Meghan is killing them with love. Yes, she is just so graceful. I'm so glad that there are respectable, graceful people in the world like Meghan, so that people like me can balance it out by being messy and petty. Ladybird, this is getting out of hand. Oh gosh. Yeah, they lost me at languages for Paddington Bear. Kat Harlem, I want to thank all the squaddies who posted HB happy birthday wishes to me on the video yesterday. Oh my gosh, was it your birthday? I didn't even realize. Oh, happy birthday, Kat Harlem. I had an awesome celebration. Oh, I hope you did. I really, really hope you did. Oh, and also tomorrow, I will actually be taking a cart of food to the food bank. So if you can take anything, even if it's just a couple of canned goods, please donate to the food bank tomorrow. Our neighbors need our help. Um, a very rich institution does not. Nelson, I read that people are actually being arrested for silently protesting against the new king. Gives North Korea vibes. Well, today, we what was it? What happened at Parliament today? I think there was a group of people who protested as a big group, and they were not arrested. So there was a tweet from the secret barrister the other day, and he actually clarified what the law was. So I think I'll read it in tomorrow's podcast because I don't have it on me now. But I think what's happening is that it's just the police um are it's overkill. I think they just wanted to try and make an example of the first few people so that people got scared, but it's actually had the opposite effect and more people are protesting. I believe what's going to happen is that they would rather pretty much allow the police to break the law and then deal with the court cases and fines than act like not or act like they're weak and that they're just letting it slide. I think that they wanted to try and instill a bit of fear in people and it just hasn't worked. Curly locks, and you must find out where we can all go and pick up our uniforms and medals. I'm sure that there are some great costume shops around London, maybe Camden Town. Thank you so much, the mods. Thank you for blocking all the trolls. As the live chats get bigger and bigger and bigger, more trolls will come. Yes, Dina, Harry and the Toy Soldiers. Start a rock band with that very name. Truthfully, everything you see that is gold is solid gold. Look at the thrones. Everything in all their homes, carriages and everything. Yeah, it's just wild, isn't it? It is truly, truly wild. Oh, thank you, London lady. Thank you all for tuning in. I did not expect September to be this eventful for this reason. Completely taken me by surprise. Bonnie, Megan is what class looks like, indeed. Class and grace. Truthfully, Meghan and Harry need to never go back. Royal family don't deserve them. And don't get me started on Kate. God. Yeah. Uh, Adrian, I can't wait to see this in the history books. And we will all be in the history books. We will all be in the history books for pushing back against the false narrative. Like all of these videos, I hope they'll be here in like in 200-300 years in cyberspace, and historians can look back and be like, this is what internet folks were doing at this time. Rahini, I think I am going to call them the other royals. One, two, three, and four from now on. I mean, the media is, so why shouldn't we? All right, she's gonna get the last word of the day. It is late and I need to go to sleep. And yes, a happy belated birthday to Kat Harlem. Indeed. Let's give Kat Harlem a round of applause. And oh no, we can't give Kat Harlem a round of applause because that round of applause is from the Epidemic Sound catalog, and I haven't paid my royalty fee this month. So I'll just give you with my bare hands a round of applause, not the sound effects before I get a copyright strike. All right, who's getting a last word of the day? Okay, tune for Ward. Let's keep the Duke and Duchess of Sussex in our prayers, folks, that their love for each other sustains them through it all. Yes, love wins every single time. Love you all, and I will let you dance out. Thank you so, so much, everyone. See you tomorrow. Bye.